Okay, part two of the topic of marriage. I left off where the next day after that horrible night of being abused, my ex husband did come. He got on his knees. He begged me. He promised me the world that he would never hurt me like that again in any kind of way, that we would have a loving, happy marriage. And I said, look, get up off your knees. I'm like, I don't love you anymore. And I definitely don't respect you. And it wouldn't work because the moment you turn your back, I would take that chance and leave. It's not going to work. Once the love and the respect is gone and trust, there's nothing to left to enough to even think about working on a marriage. I just wish you the best. And I just pray and hope that the next person that you marry or that you will learn from this and love them, respect them, and never ever hurt them in any way. If you feel like that's how you're going to be, walk away. But as far as me and you, this is over. And I said, all we can do now is co-parent our daughter and do the best for her. And he's like, if I can't be with you, I don't want to live life. I'm like, nobody is worth killing yourself for, even though you did hurt me in every way possible, but nobody is worth it. Move on with your life and make changes and do better so that you can have a happy life, because I'm going to move on and I'm definitely going to have a happy life. I know I'm going to have a more peaceful life, and that I would never accept anything like this ever again in life. But I do wish you the best. And I said, so let's just co-parent for our daughter. It's not her fault. We didn't divorce her. And then the SOB, son of a bitch, I'm going to say it like that, he told me, fuck you and your daughter. And when he said that, oh my God, I ran to the kitchen, I got a knife, and my mother grabbed my hand in the air and she's like, he's not worth it. He's not worth it. He's going to be dead. You're going to be in jail. And then who's going to have your daughter? He's not worth it. You already know that he's capable of saying and doing stuff like this and more. What more do you want to see? This shouldn't surprise you. Even if it's your daughter, you shouldn't be surprised. Let it go. And if it wasn't for my mother, he'd be gone and I would be in prison probably to this day. So God bless her, and thank God for not leaving me alone, even when I'm thinking he's arriving a little late, but he's never late. You know, he doesn't arrive when you think sometimes, but he always is on time. So, yeah. So I said, you know what? You can say what you want to say to me. I said, I know who I am and what I deserve and don't deserve. I said, but when you start talking about your own flesh and blood, I will kill you. So you better thank my mom that she's going to allow you to live your life. So get up and get the fuck out. And he never did. He never came to visit her. He never gave her anything. He never did anything. And, you know, then there was a situation where I finally got a nice apartment and I tried to just rebuild my life and be independent, be on my own. I appreciated my mom for wanting me there, but I just had to try to rebuild. And he would follow me all the time. And then one time he called me out of my apartment and I went to his car and he put a gun to, like, right in this area. He goes, I come here to kill you. And I'm like, what? And he goes, but you know, I was thinking, I don't know if I should kill you so you can't be with anybody else, or should I kill the both of us so you can't be with anybody else and I don't have to feel the pain of being without you. And then I said, look, and trust me, nobody wants to die. Of course I was afraid. I had a daughter to live for. I had a life that I loved and that I wanted to move on and be happy. So of course I'm afraid. Inside I was shaking in my boots. But I had the courage to tell him, look, it's not worth you killing yourself for, and I don't deserve you to kill me. But you're going to have to do what you have to do, because I would rather be dead than ever be with you again. So I'm going to walk away. So I turned around and I walked away. My back kept twitching because I kept waiting for the bullet to hit my back. And I made it to my apartment, which, trust me, was a long way. But even when you got a gun to you, it's even longer. So I finally made it it was like a gated apartment, down the thing, up the stairs, and I turned around and looked at him. He goes, you know what? He yelled it out, I'm going to hurt you what hurts you the most. Never crossed my mind, my daughter, because he never cared. Once he said, fuck you and your daughter, and he never visited her, never brought her anything after that, why would I think he would hurt me with my daughter? And I don't really want to get into that story. Maybe someday I will tell my story. I would, be willing to share that without going into names and details, but kind of share the story. I'll have to think about that one. But later on, he did. He kept his promise. He did hurt me, what hurt me the most, which was with my daughter. It was a setup. And I ended up not having my daughter, not legally, because legally he couldn't do that. And the persons that he involved couldn't do that. This was all done illegally and immorally and for no reason at all, because I had a badass apartment. I wasn't in jail. I had not done drugs. I was a good, loving, giving, respectful mom. I was just that one. I had my daughter had her own room, a beautiful room. I took really good care of her. She was dressed nice. She was clean. That's just who I am. I'm clean in myself. I'm clean with things in my life. I'm clean with my children. My children are my number one, my only one. They're my priority. I go above and beyond in every way, emotionally, physically, heart-wise. It's just like, I'm just really proud of the kind of mom I am. Very few and far in between. And I am just proud. My mom was an amazing mom. I feel like I'm an amazing mom. I'm proud of the mom that I am and continue to be to this day. So there was no reason whatsoever that they would have the right or the reason to take her from me. So, but because I didn't have the money to fight, but I gave it my best. I did go to court and I did try and I fought the best I could, but I didn't have the money to continue on. And so there, I'm going into that story, and I really don't want to go into that story, but it did affect me. It came full circle many years later, where I had a relationship with my daughter again. We found each other. We had a relationship again. We did so many memories and things together, right? But the relationship is difficult because of the separation that we had, and then she's in a certain religion that kind of limits you from really going full force with a relationship. And there's things that I will accept and not accept, things that I can be flexible with and things that I'm not flexible with. I'm not here to have anybody ever come back and hurt me again. I'm not gonna be like, because I didn't leave her. I didn't leave her for a man, for drugs, for prison, for being a bad person. I didn't leave her. So I don't owe anybody anything. But I love her and I wish her well. And if one day, if it happens, that would be great. If not, I have to keep it moving because I have other children that I don't have to explain or prove anything to, that love me unconditionally, that make me happy, that make sure I'm okay. And so I can't go back to that place where people can control me or hurt me in any way possible, especially hurt my other children in any way. So I have to be protective. I have to never allow myself to be hurt like that again or go through any of that again for any reason that had to do with that again. So, but I don't want to go into too much details. Sometimes relationships work and sometimes it doesn't for whatever reason. Like I say, that's my daughter, my firstborn. I will always love her with my heart and soul. I will always wish her the best, whether we're together or not. So that will never change. That's how I feel. But I know what I accept, what I don't accept, and what I'm willing to allow. So I'll just leave that part at that. But we ended up separating for a few years, and then I finally got my divorce in 93. So we were separated for like maybe from 87 to 93. Yeah, and I finally got my divorce. And then at this time, I had been living with my second husband for 3 years, and we married months shortly after my divorce was final. So now leaning off, and I hadn't seen that ex-husband in years till my daughter got married, and we both had to see each other, and he was the same asshole as he was back then. I don't know if he's physical abusive, but I heard that with his relationship, he's still controlling, he's still mean, and I could see the attitude what he had at the wedding. But he ran into a whole different person. I'm not that person that you hurt, tried to control, abused in every way possible. If you say or do anything to me, come at me sideways, I was going to jump over the table and knock his ass out. I was not the one. It's been over 25 years Don't even try. And he tried to say something that I saw, and I'm like, you know what? You better be cool. You better stay to your side, and I'll stay to my side. And as long as you don't come at me sideways, verbally or physically, we'll all be good. And it was about her, not about us. We end up meeting at the parking lot, and it's like he waited for me to get out the car. I'm like, what is he waiting for? Oh my God. I got out the car and he said, hello, Carmen. And I said, hello. I'm not going to say his name because he's moved on in his life, and I'm definitely have been moved on, when that was happening. I was done before the last fight, and I was definitely done. So I'm definitely the one has moved on. And he's in a relationship. I wish him well. Um, because I don't have any ill intent to anyone. I wish him well. His girlfriend seemed to be really sweet. She hugged me. She said hello. That's something, usually somebody would be jealous and be like, oh, your ex-wife, why are you saying hi to her? Why are you going to her? She was just so sweet. From what I saw, she was a sweet person. From what I heard, she's sweet. So I hope she's smart enough, and I hope he's respecting her and loving her, and that, she doesn't take what I took for a while. So, I wish them the best. And of course, it's my daughter's father. So I can't at 100% regret him because of when we want to have my daughter. But 99% I regret the whole marriage, the whole relationship, the whole knowing him. I mean, he has a wonderful family who I still love. I miss, I respect. I'm still in contact with one of his family members, which I love dearly. So it's not his family's fault. And I never told his family what he was doing until it's too late. I was gone. He was gone. It was been over with. It was until years later that they found out. They found out a few things soon after, but it wasn't years later till we reunited, and they found out what I had been through, and they wish I had told them. They would have tried. They said, we loved you. We would have tried to help in every way we can, and I appreciate that. Like I say, I still love them. I have so much respect for his family. They have been so good to me, even though that was their family member. They were honest, and they were fair, and I can't ask for more. So I'm glad I can still keep in touch with at least one family member. So yeah, so moving on to this marriage. So I still believed in marriage after that. I knew I wanted to be happy, but I knew that I would have my eyes wide open, that I wouldn't completely follow my heart, that I would be smart about my choices and who I wanted to be with. I met this husband in 1989, exactly at the end of the year. I think it was December. And I was crossing the street. I worked for a check cashing place, and he worked for a glass company. And so I was crossing, and I worked in the worst part of Oakland, which is West Oakland. A lot of gangsters, a lot of prostitution. It wasn't the safest place to be, especially at night. But I worked in a check cashing place, really liked it. It was fun. And one night I got paid, and I had to catch the bus. I didn't have a car at this time. So I had to catch the bus. And I was so worried because it was kind of starting to go towards the evening. I thought, oh my God, let me just get to the bus. Let me get home safe. Hopefully. And I heard somebody running up behind me. I'm like, oh my God, they come to rob me. And I turned around like, I don't know what that was going to do. But I turned around and I saw him. He had beautiful eyes, long hair. I love men with long hair. So freaking cute. And he just was like, oh my God. And I thought, oh, he wouldn't hurt a fly. So I turned around and kept walking. And then I heard him tell his friend, oh my God, look what I found, in Spanish. And obviously he didn't know I spoke Spanish. I turned around again and smiled. And he goes, oh my God, she speaks Spanish. And so I smiled and laughed and turned back around, and we stopped at the bus stop, and we were waiting for the bus stop. And his friend kind of pulled back, leaned against the wall, and kind of let him come closer to me. He's like, hi, how you doing? He goes, I'm sorry if I scared you. I didn't mean to scare you. And I said, oh, that's okay. I said, any woman with the purse in this area. And so, because I didn't really want to tell him either that I had money. I said, it's just always a scary thing. And I heard you just run up behind me, and it just kind of startled me, but it's okay. And he goes, oh, so where do you work at? And I said, oh, I work at the check cashing place over here. And I said, you have a lunch pail. Where do you work at? And he said, I work for the glass company over here. And I said, oh, that's good. He goes, I'm surprised I haven't seen you before. I worked, a few years here. And I said, well, I just been working like a year and a half maybe here. And otherwise, I never would come to West Oakland. I don't live in West Oakland. And he's like, where do you live? I was like, in the middle of town, around the Fruitvale area. He goes, oh, I used to live there too. Oh my God, my cousins, when I first came from Mexico, I lived there. And he goes, now I live in Fremont. I'm like, oh, that's good. He goes, are you married? I said, well, I'm separated. I said, I've been separated for a few years and I'm definitely going to be working on my divorce. And he said, you have children? I said, yeah, I have one daughter. I said, she's not with me at the moment. I said, it's a long story and it's very private, so I don't want to get into it. I said, but definitely. So he said, oh, okay. I said, do you have children? He said, yeah, one in Mexico. And I said, are you married? And he goes, no. He said, I was married in Mexico. And I said, oh, okay. So let me explain to you guys something. Okay, when I tell you this story, no, I wasn't the side chick knowingly. Let me just say that ahead of time. I would never knowingly or purposely break up a marriage. I would never be anybody's affair. I would never be, not affair, but I would never be, me breaking up some marriage or purposely. I don't care about the wife. I don't care about the marriage. I'm going to be, never. I always wanted to do everything right. I graduated, I got married, and I had my first daughter. I didn't do anything backwards. And I had planned to do that with every relationship I would have after that. So just let me make that clear. So you start thinking, oh my God, you were the side chick, you broke up their marriage. No, I did not. So, and you'll see why. So yeah, he lied. He said he wasn't married and he only had that one daughter. And, and to really defend my husband, I think he was caught in the moment. I didn't think he expected to meet me. God, my dog went to the pee pad and peed. Good job, Rudy. Oh, that Shadow. Good job, Shadow. I'm training them. But yeah, so I think he got caught up in the moment and he lied. But I don't think he went into the marriage wanting to have an affair or wanting to hurt anybody or deny anybody. And you'll see why. Anyway, so he said, this must be faith, Carmen. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, because I have a car, but it's in the shop. So if my car was in the shop, I wouldn't have met you. I'm like, okay, whatever. And he goes, do you want to go out sometime? And I'm like, oh, I've been separated. I'm still trying to get to know me and figure things out for me. I'm not trying to rush into a relationship. He goes, well, we don't have to we can just go out and get to know each other. And I said, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But we started talking and laughing, and he made me laugh so much about so many things. And it was so natural. The connection was so intense. It was weird. And as much as I was like really determined to get to know myself and not be in a relationship, he was really connecting with me. So, and his friend was smiling in the back, and he's probably thinking this guy is going to get in some big trouble. And then he said, so we got on the bus and he said, you should give me your number. And I said, well, it doesn't hurt, to have a friend. So I gave him my number and I said, what about your number? And he said, oh, we don't have a phone. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, I said, who do you live with? He goes, my sister, Sylvia. Sylvia's never been in the United States. I said, oh, and he goes, and there was trouble with the phone, so we don't have a phone. I'm like, that's awfully odd. I'm like, you sure? And he goes, yeah, I'm positive. And so I gave him my number and we laughed and we had different stops. He was going to keep going and I stopped. And he said, it was so good to know you. I hope we can have lunch sometime and stuff like that. I said, okay, take care. And so he laughed and I laughed. And then I didn't hear from him. And so I forgot all about him. It wasn't a big thing after I was getting to know myself, and he was just a cute guy, and that was it. So he come to my job, and his friend was cashing his check. And then he said, hi, Carmen. I went, how do you know my name? Because I hate when people might know my name and I don't know you. And he goes, don't you remember me at the bus stop? We were talking and laughing. I'm like, oh, I got it. People who get people's numbers and never call them and disappear. He goes, no. He goes, I had to go to Mexico to finish doing my papers. And he said, but I thought about you the whole time and that's why I'm here and I want to invite you out. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, you are starting off on the wrong foot. First you disappear. You never call. I don't know about you. And he said, come on, let's go to the movies. Let's go dancing. Let's do something. I said, okay. And so I thought, okay, I'll just say yeah. And hopefully he won't show up like he didn't show up the other times or he had disappeared. So I told him where I lived and stuff. So he came, and my friend, I was roommating with the girl, and she said, "Oh my God, there's this hot guy at the door. Is that your date?" And I'm like, "He's cute, but what do you mean by hot?" He goes, "No," because I saw him in work clothes, and even though he looked good, and I said, "What do you mean by like hot? It's not all that." And so when I went, I just said, I didn't even put effort into my clothing. I just put some jeans, a top, and some tennis shoes on because I was trying to steer him away. I'm like, if he's going to run, let him run now. So then he said, when I saw him, I just looked at him. He was sitting on the couch, and I was like, he looked good. He had on some jeans. I'll never forget, some blue and white Nikes, a red shirt. He looked hot. So then we went to the movies, and I thought it was the drive-in movies. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do some things that's going to make this guy run. I'd rather him run now than later. So when we went to order food, I said, I want 2 hamburgers, 2 popcorns, 2 hot dogs. And he was like, and then we were eating in the car. And so I'm like, I had finished my food. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get sick. I did not eat like that. I was really skinny. I only weighed 119 back at that time. And he said, so he still had his food. And I said, if you're not going to eat that, I'll eat it. Because I had already eaten my food. He's like, oh, okay. And then I didn't really smoke. I kind of smoke, but here and there. So I had a pack of cigarettes in my purse. So I start smoking and puffing towards him. I said, he's going to run. He's going to say she eats too much. I can't afford this. And she's a smoker. Bye. He did not go away. And then when he dropped, we went to the drive-in movies and stuff like that. And then we kind of went dancing after that. But my tennis shoes kept squeaking on the floor. So I thought, next time I'm going to be ready. So then when he dropped me off, I said, do you have $5 I can borrow? I'm like, this is it. He's going to run now. And then she's borrowing money from me. She's a bad case of like, I better run now. And he gave me the $5, and it's been 27 years. I never paid him back. We always laugh about if I paid him back with interest, how much would that be? And we tried to calculate it. And so the next time he came, I was ready. I had put on my high heels, my mini skirt, my hair. I was dolled up. And so my friend said, she'll be right out. When I came out, she had given him a drink, and he spit the drink out just to see how good I looked. I wish I had pictures back then. And he goes, oh my God, you are so beautiful. So we went dancing. We had an amazing time. And then we started to develop really a relationship. He asked me to be his girlfriend. We would dedicate songs to each other. We'd talk to each other on the phone. He would come and spend a week at a time with me, but we would get our own hotel because me and my friend lived in a studio, and so it wasn't very private. So we would do the hotel thing. And then I was so excited. A few months had gone by, and I said, Mom, you have to meet my new boyfriend. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so afraid, but I hope it's a good one. And I said, yeah, come, to the Bay Area, because she was living in the town that she died in. And so she came, and we were sitting at the dinner table, and I said, it's going to be my birthday, so we can celebrate my birthday together, and you can meet him. And my sister met him, and she fell head over heels for him. And then my mother just kept staring. And from the time she got off the Greyhound, she was staring at him, and it wasn't a great look. She was respectful and friendly, but it wasn't a good look. And we're sitting at the dinner table, and she goes, you're married, aren't you? And I'm like, what? What are you saying? Of course he's not married. And she goes, he's married. And he's like, no, ma'am, I'm not married. I'm like, are you married? And he's like, no. But I noticed he was fidgety and nervous. And so I'm like, Mom, why would you say that? Oh my God, I can't believe this is my birthday. I can't believe I am going through this. Oh my God. She goes, Carmen, I have never been wrong. And you're going to remember me when you find out he is married. And I thought, no, God, this can't be happening. So I had full faith in him. Who's going to come and be with me for a week at a time, days at a time? We talk. We spent so much time together. Who leaves their wife or their family and does that? I just couldn't see it. I said, I didn't want to tell my mom we were together intimately. I said, but we spent days together without going into too much detail. I'm like, you're married, you couldn't do that. Your wife would kill you or something. But it wouldn't get out of my mind. So I said, tonight we should go to the hotel. He goes, no, I have to go home. I said, why is the rush home? And he said, my sister's going to be mad. I've been gone for a few days already. And I said, why would your sister get mad? You're a grown man. Just call her. I don't have a phone. And I said, okay, this is how this is going to go down. We're either going to go to the hotel and be together tonight, or I'm going to let you go right now. No. Okay, so we go to the hotel. And I'm sitting there thinking and thinking. So like about 2 o'clock in the morning, he goes, okay, I'm married. I'm like, oh my God. And I wanted to pass out, fall backwards. I said, what are you doing? I said, I never ever would ever think that I would be in something like this. I would never break up anybody's marriage. I would never take anybody's man or father away. I would never do that because I don't want it done to me. That's not the kind of person. I pride myself on the kind of person that I am. I'm an honest person. I give my all to everybody who I love. Whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's my children. I said, I just never would do something. Why would you do that? And he said, my marriage is already ending, Carmen. It's been ending. We've been arguing and fighting a lot. And I told her many times, this is over with. I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. There's so many things that I wasn't happy with, that I was uncomfortable with. And I kept telling her, one day I'm going to leave. One day I'm going to leave. You keep acting like this. You keep doing these things. I'm going to leave. I'm not happy. And you were just like the icing on the cake for me to go faster. But I was going to leave anyway. I said, but then you should have left the right way. You should have made a decision and said, okay, I'm not happy in this marriage. I got to let you go. And let's do what we have to do to leave peacefully. And if we have a child, let's, co-parent. You should have did things the right way. And then, but not enter into something like this, because now I'm at fault for not being at fault. It's not my fault because I didn't know you were married and I didn't know you had anything. I really thought you weren't. I asked you your story and everything. You lied to me. So how am I going to trust you? I love you. Yes. I can't just shut off my feelings like hot water and cold water. That's for sure. But I have to do the right thing because that's not the kind of person I am. And now your wife and people are going to think, which I don't really care what people think because I know who I am and I don't have to explain or prove anything to anybody. Let's get that straight. I said, but the fact that it's even going to be look like that, makes me mad because I did not know you were married. And I asked you the story. I asked you details. You completely lied to me for all these months. It took my mom. And I should have known. My mother is never, ever wrong. I should have known. And, sorry, my nose always runs when I do video. And so we sat there. He goes, I don't want to lose you. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to lose you. And yes, I should have did the right thing. And normally I do the right thing. And it's been done to me. And I never expected to do this to my wife. I don't mean to hurt her. I don't love her. And whether you stay with me or not, I'm not going back. This marriage was over before you came. You didn't make it over. You didn't have anything to do with it. It's not your fault, and I will defend you to the ground. And I said, I got to think. I need space. I got to think. This is too much. So he left, and then the next day we met for lunch, and I said, look, I have to be honest with you and myself. I love you so much. And, I can't shut off my feelings like that. I said, but I'm not going to continue in this type of relationship. You have to go and work it out with your wife. If there's even a bit like a sand size of a chance for you to work things out, please go back and work things out. And in the hotel, I said, do you have children? He goes, I have a son, a 6-month-old son. And I went, oh my God. It was like somebody put the nuclear bomb on me. And I said, if there's a grain of a sand of a chance to work it out, go back and work it out with your wife, especially do it for your baby. And he goes, I love my baby and I didn't mean to hurt my baby and I would never not take care of my baby. That will not change. But I was severely, severely unhappy and I was out the door, just that I found you at the same time. I said, but you should have been honest with me. I wouldn't have been with you. You would have still had to go back and make your decision and work out your situation. And then maybe down the line, down the road, if you are free, then we could look into it again. And then I said, I didn't deserve that. She doesn't deserve that. But, so he said, okay, I'm going to go back and take care of my situation. And I just hope that you don't forget me and that you give me a chance. And I'm like, please, I'm begging you to work that situation out. Like I said, even if it's a grain of sand of hope, please do it for your wife, do it for you, do it for your son. You can forget about me. Time heals all wounds. I'll go on. You'll go on. I'm going to get a divorce. So, it's not the first time around this rodeo. So, But it's the first time me being involved with a married man without knowing. I said, I could see if I knew and I purposely did it, then I would be a bad person and the side chick. But I would never be anybody's side chick, and I'm not because I didn't know. And so he did. He went back and worked out a situation, talked to his wife. He said, you know, we've been unhappy for a long time. You know, this was not working. I've told you tons and tons and tons of times. And I don't know if you took me serious, you laughed it off, but I even talked to your parents. I told them, and I'm so sorry for the baby because it's an innocent baby. I will take care of my baby. Here's our taxes. Take the whole thing. And I will continue to visit and take care of my son. And he said, but this is not working. She goes, you're leaving me for a woman. I found her picture because we even went to the mall and we took a picture together, and there was a sign that you could put different sayings, and on the bottom it said, I love you. And I was sitting on his lap and we were hugging, and I got one and he got one. So he left it under the seat of his car. So I guess she found it. And of course she's going to think that I purposely knew that they were married, that I purposely broke up her home. To this day, she probably believes that because we've never talked. We've had words in the court because she tried to be slick and disrespectful in other ways, but for other reasons. But, you know, to this day, she probably believes that I knew that they were married, that I didn't care about her marriage, I didn't care about her son, that I purposely took her man, that I knew the whole time that he was married. I'm this evil side chick bitch. Wrong. No. Okay? It ain't like that. But you know, it's been 27 years. So he worked out his situation and he made his decision, and he did. He tried to do visitation rights, and she made it very difficult for him. And she even, you know, at one point my husband said in the mediation, she said, I don't care about my son. I care about, you know, my feelings and how he hurt me. And she's like, yo, you better wake up because it is about your son and it's not about you. You need to get over this and move on. He's moved on. You need to move on, make your life happy. But for now, it is about your son. So my husband has always tried to visit his son. She made it very difficult because she couldn't get past the money situation. She couldn't get past the other situation. So we would go down there, and I even talked to her on the phone one time. I said, here's our number. If you ever need anything, if your son has a play, you know, we didn't go into if I knew or didn't know. And I think maybe I had mentioned, you know, I didn't know he was married. I think I briefly said, I didn't know that you guys were married. I didn't know he was married. He told me he wasn't married. And I didn't know nothing about you or your son. I would never break up a marriage. So I just want to make that clear. And she wasn't hearing it. And so I didn't care. I said what I had to say. If you believe me, that's your choice. If you don't, there's nothing I can do. So I offered my number and said, hey, if your son ever has a play or needs anything, please, here's my number, you know. And she would call my house and say, can I speak to my husband? I say, don't call disrespecting. Be nice. Be nice. I understand that you're hurt. I didn't know about you, so it's not my fault. And I understand what he did wasn't right. But I'm thinking about your son. Let's forget about him and you and me. I'm trying